Alright guys, have to come back again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And going into the World Championship, the CDL have come out with some nice pieces of content to prepare everyone for what is going to be the biggest event of the entire season. Huke, of course, after failing to qualify for champs on the Los Angeles Guerrillas, believes his former World Championship winning teammate Ilian Shotzzy will be key to OpTic's success this tournament, saying they get the best out of their teammates. That may well be the critical difference maker for the World Championship winners 2022. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. Really helps the channel. Thanks very much indeed for doing that one. First of all, I wanted to mention this. Cameron Dicker, I'm guessing, is an NFL player. He's on the new Call of Duty game. This is what it seems like the lobby screen looks like here for Modern Warfare 2. I mean, look, all of them look the same pretty much at this point. It's looking rather similar to Modern Warfare 2019. It's looking rather similar to Vanguard, to be honest. We've got a map name here in the bottom right-hand side, some sort of museum. So, yeah, not really too much to read into this, to be honest, but thought it was kind of interesting that he was playing the new COD game and, officially sanctioned, put this one straight on his social media. So I'm guessing they were like, yeah, okay, a small league like this, that can come into play, but it might be a difficult couple of years if it's Modern Warfare 2019-esque for 2 seasons in a row of the CDL. Just to mention this as well, if you guys haven't yet got involved in the fantasy, this is almost your last and final reminder to do exactly that. If you win, you get $500, giving away a lot of cash prizes for a free entry thing, so please get involved. You'll only have yourself to thank when you win the entire thing. But yeah, these are the 5 players right now that have been picked the most so far. Scump, of course, champ Scump. People have a lot of confidence in him. Dashy as well, 14.1% of teams have included Dashy, Prid at 11%, Cami at 10.6%, Methodz at 9.6%. These are the highest picked players so far. Scump's only $7, Prid's actually $8, but still, you can work around it with your $25 budget to pick a pretty good team regardless. Wanted to talk real quick about Doug, because I believe he's going to be out there in LA this weekend, just in case Boston need him to sub into the team. As he says here, I think he's mentioned this before, that he was going to do this, but unfortunately he hasn't yet won his World Championship, so we can't really do the whole natural physique competition yet, because, he won't exactly complete both, but he wants to be the first person in the world to do both, which would be pretty class. But there's still a long road ahead of Doug if he wants to win the World Championship. But yes, he does say, actually, he was talking about Crimsix, right? The Crim can't beat him in finals, this type of stuff, that he doesn't lose to Crim, he doesn't lose to Clay, doesn't lose to Scump, that he's just going to refuse to lose against any of those players because his finals record against them is so good or whatever. Classic Doug type stuff. But I thought it was kind of interesting that he mentioned that, like, if Boston need him, he kind of hopes that they don't need him because they want, their hard work to be rewarded for the season. But he's saying if they do need him, if they're like any player gets ill or whatever, because if someone tests positive or whatever, like, I don't know if they can play, I'm not exactly sure what the rules are. It was a bit of a mess last year, maybe not so much this season, but there is a world in which substitutes could be required for certain teams, and Doug is there ready to go if required. And he reckons that if he plays Crim in the grand finals, it's only, one-way traffic.
Crim, I beat him 6-2, 3-1, and 3-2. So 6, 9-3, 12. I'm 12-5 map count against Crimsix in finals. Like, that guy's dog. Bro. Like, he's so lucky I'm on the bench for Boston. If something happens to a player in Boston on their sub, and I see Crimsix, their year is over. Like, you could quote this right now. Like, if I ever get subbed in for Boston at champs this weekend, for whatever miracle reason, like, honestly, I hope it doesn't happen, because that means that somebody got sick, and I don't want that to happen because these guys deserve that opportunity, and they're the ones who got that placing this year. But if I see Crimsix on the main stage at champs and I play against him, he will not beat me in a map. I will say it now, I will say it at the event, and I'll say it right after. Because that guy is dog when it comes to winning against me. There's just certain players I won't lose to. Clayster, Crimsix, Scump. So, he's lucky I'm sitting on the bench, that's for sure.
Wanted to mention this real quick as well from Decimate, because I know Doug was replying to this and kind of giving him a confidence booster, but this was kind of interesting to me because Decimate has been a kind of big topic of discussion the last 2 seasons. He, of course, had a couple of chances last year. Seattle was the most notable, where he joins the team and effectively decides to leave. Bit of a strange situation there that happened mid-season because didn't seem to have much confidence in the team. Now, since then, he got the spot on Paris, then gets dropped again, and it's a bit strange, really, because Decimate has had some chances, and most people at this point would probably say, look, he's had enough chances, really, to prove himself here in the CDL, but then people would say, maybe understandably, okay, well, he's joined teams that don't really have that much potential, maybe on a good team he could do something, but even I think he subbed in briefly for New York and it wasn't exactly spectacular. But as he says, people love to throw shots at me like I didn't run challenges where people who are winning events are coming from and then get put on teams with 0 chance no matter who's on it, lol. Got booted after 1 LAN match, pre-LAN. Not exactly sure what team that refers to because there's been quite a few teams that he's been on the last couple of seasons, but as he says here, the Seattle situation wasn't even the player that they wanted and it showed when I joined. Team wasn't revitalized at all, and I wanted to stay on and go over all the stuff all the time. It was passionate, but the vibe was dead. Half the stuff that I took hours to go over for the Search and Destroy that would have won us the match was forgotten. Also pretty impressive, you've been writing me for years, all this type of stuff. So yeah, Decimate wasn't particularly happy bad here in the replies, but I thought it was kind of interesting insight really into what happened on that Seattle team. He joins the team of Octane. Was it they dropped Looney or whatever it was, so it was Gunless was still there when like Prestinni was there or something, whatever the team was, and he was like, yeah, the vibe was dead, get me out of there ASAP. So maybe don't blame him so much if that is the truth of the matter, but you know, will Decimate get another shot next season? He's had a couple of chances the last couple of years, hasn't really worked out for him, right? But still down there in the challenger side when he has been competing, still has been kind of running things, right? So he is always a name that's going to be there or thereabouts, but maybe the next team will work out better for him, or maybe it certainly will not. Let's talk Attach and FaZe real quick because, well, notice this, that he's streaming from the FaZe headquarters. So yes, definitely doesn't seem like the happiest man in Minnesota, probably wants to get out of there. He is officially a free agent. Of course, look, he's not going to be joining FaZe Clan because, or well, Atlanta FaZe, because they're going to keep their roster together for next season. There's no doubt about it. Like, they've already re-signed. They're going to at least run it back for one more year or whatever, just to see if like there's any world in which, I mean, look, if they win this World Championship, their team is probably going to sit together for quite some time. If they do fail to win this event and then start next year off poorly, Atlanta FaZe, then maybe something happens at some point if they get frustrated. But I do kind of doubt the likelihood for quite some time. But yeah, Attach, where's he going to go? Like, obviously he's not going to join FaZe. We have had a couple of players that have joined FaZe on their sub bench, like Prestinni this year, Sib last year, last couple of years actually in Cold War and I believe Modern Warfare as well. Sib was on the bench, so obviously Attach is going to be sitting on the bench for FaZe. He's going to join another team, but yeah, what could that team potentially be? Probably more indications that he's not maybe the happiest bunny over there in Minnesota and probably wants to get out of there as soon as his contract ends, I believe, after Champs or 1 week after Champs or something. Then they are officially free agents if they are not re-signed to their teams, as well, they can't do for Attach because he's at the end of his 1+1 contract. Cool here from the CDL right there we're going to dive into. So dinner with some previous CDL champions. So dinner with champs. I don't know if there's any other ones like this coming on the horizon. They've got Miles here with Simp and Huke talking about how things have gone. I remember back in the day they used to do dinner with champs. There'd be maybe more pros there that have Mr. X or even maybe, I think it was Mr. X who used to do it with maybe 4 previous World Championship winners, like just talking about stuff. And I thought it was really great content. I was kind of hoping there'd be more pros in this, to be honest. I think like 3+, and also like, you know, get a guy like Crimsix in there. Imagine Crim and Scump or something like this. I know like realistically they might have struggled to do that, but I thought it was still, you know, pretty cool idea. So great content in general. The stake looked fantastic as well. But there were a couple of interesting things here said, one of which was by Simp when he was talking about like the kind of pressure that coming second the entire year brings. He says that to a degree it is weighing on FaZe's minds that, well, you know, look, hang on a second here, we just can't seem to win grand finals this season. Like if FaZe make the grand finals again and let's say they lose map 1, like what will their mindset be, right? Will they be thinking, okay, well, we're still going to win champs here, or will they think, damn, it's happening again, we're playing, I don't know, Boston and we've lost map 1 of the grand finals, like have we got a grand finals curse? I don't know if that'll ever creep into their mindsets, probably not, but it is something to think about, right? As Simp agrees, and like it is kind of on their mind as a team. But also Huke talking about his former World Championship winning teammates back in Modern Warfare, right, in 2020 on Dallas Empire, when he was playing with Crim, Clay, Shotzzy and Illy, and saying that those two guys, Shotzzy and Illy, are just the perfect guys to be around, especially at this time of the year. They bring the best out of their teammates, they're winners, incredibly passionate, and that might be the key to OpTic's success of this tournament.
For you, kind of like, and for Shotzzy and Inda, you know, they're on OpTic now. Like, were those guys a lot of fun to play with? Like, was that an exciting team to be a part of to win a championship?
Very exciting. I just think being around those guys every day, like Inder and Shotzzy, really can only bring the best out of someone. They're incredibly talented, and on top of that, they're just some of the most passionate people in the community. So,
for the second place, does that weigh on you? Is that in the back of your mind that like we could go to champs and get second?
I mean, yes, but at the same time, like I feel like, you know, every tournament you can kind of just think, oh, we can get last.
So we did see earlier today, right, the fact that Scump seems pretty confident that their practice has been going okay, but wasn't like incredibly hopeful in a dominant tournament performance or anything like that. But Shotzzy and Illy could be the difference makers here, right? Because we know that since they joined the team, definitely did seem to revitalize the culture to a certain extent. Illy, of course, has been out for a little bit of time, and maybe while Illy was out of that OpTic team, it kind of regressed a little bit in terms of the passion that they really bring into the table. But look, Shotzzy and Illy have won the World Championships before. They are a one-time winner along with Scump, of course. Among the youngest ever winners actually as well. I'll talk about this kind of graphic in more detail here in a second that, well, Roosevelt puts together and Crone tweets out on the tunnel. I guess I'll put it on the big screen just so you guys can see it while I discuss this whole OpTic stuff. But to what extent do you guys think they're key to this potential run, right? Because look, we know that Shotzzy did definitely seem to change how that team was operating internally, but also Rambo was there as a crucial factor as well in getting the best out of the entire team. So it will be interesting to see, because World Championship, that's when the best players really turn up and the best teams that have the most passion and drive and commitment, like they really come to the fore. And the last couple of years we've seen that the OpTic teams have kind of been there at times in the season, but you know, kind of fallen short at times during the World Championship. Shotzzy never really have. Their record at champs is actually remarkably good, of course. Dallas Empire last year came third, arguably could have come second, right? They lost that incredible hardpoint to, or they won that incredible hardpoint to Toronto Ultra on Rage, right? The most incredible hardpoint probably of the entire season. Then lost in game 5 though to Toronto. Toronto went to the grand finals and lost to FaZe anyway. But Dallas did come into that tournament. They almost won at Major 4 last year as well, where they lost to FaZe in the grand finals. I'm pretty sure it was 5-4 in that grand finals there. And then of course the event after, they came top 3. And then back in Modern Warfare, they won the entire thing at the World Championship, right? So Shotzzy, their record at champs is 1st and 3rd. That's not too bad. And it did seem to a degree like their individual performance stepped up when they came to those events. So that might be a key difference maker. Huke reckons that they're, well, a key component to having your team if you want to make a decent run at this type of tournament. Now, look, they're not the only players that have a crazy champs record on this list. Simp is on this list, same with aBeZy, but I think aBeZy came top 32 or top 24 at, I think it was the World War II World Championship, so Simp didn't attend that one because he wasn't old enough. So he has gone 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in his 3 years competing at the World Championship. Yeah. So his record is ridiculous, but yeah, just wanted to mention the rest of the players on this list, actually the youngest players to ever win champs. Attach is still the youngest, 18 years and almost 3 months back in 2015. And then of course all the Farico guys, and even like Aches is here, right, only 19 years old on Complexity back in 2014, because those World Championships were so early that the players are just generally quite young, right? All the Farico guys were 18, 19 when they won champs back in 2013, which is crazy to think about, but I guess it makes sense. And then Simp and aBeZy, Shotzzy, and Attach round out the rest of the list. I thought that was kind of interesting stuff. And I wanted to just talk about this as well, of course, because a team that could go back-to-back in this tournament is, of course, none other than the Los Angeles Thieves. Kenny with the beautiful rainbow MVP card that Lion likes to make. I believe this team might have been the only one this season where all 4 players have a 90+ rating, which is quite impressive, because I think Octane was great this tourney, has a 91. Envoy and Drazah both in the same boat, 93, and Kenny with a 95. I think they get like a +4 overall to what the numbers say, or like there's an algorithm that determines what their number should be based on their role and stats and stuff like this, but then they get like a +4 overall number because of their like positive record on the stage, something like that. But yeah, none of these guys have ever won a World Championship. Will it be changing this time around? Certainly one of the favorites up there with FaZe, I think, to win this entire thing. These are the top rated players of the stage. Cellium, Kenny, of course, all the Thieves guys are here, which is honestly kind of impressive. Dashy making an appearance as you might expect. Simp is here, obviously the Bulldog in Kismet, right? You got Hydra and even Inside actually rounding out the list on this one. And just to mention a few interesting stats here before we close out the video. First blood rate, Search and Destroy leaders this year. Havoc's ending it up with 19.3%. Shotzzy appears here as well at 17.7%. Like then we've got Search and Destroy kills per round. Shotzzy's number 2 right up there, with tied with Capsidal, even though of course he's now benched on the team. So Shotzzy, the number 1 current player in terms of Search kills per round. In terms of hardpoint KD, Cellium is just way ahead of the pack at 1.25 this year. Just absurd numbers from him. This is also interesting. Damage per 10 minutes in hardpoint. Sib and Pred both on this list from Seattle. That duo is scary. Up there with Tempered Awakening, and CleanX appearing in a lot of these stat sheets. So despite the fact that CleanX has not had the greatest season, like in terms of impact, he's still been right up there, to be honest. So I think that even though his KD might not look so good at times, these numbers certainly work in his favor. He even appears here in kills per 10 minutes. But again, it's Pred and Sib on this list, and Shotzzy right up there with those guys, with CleanX still making it in. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit on the like button. Tells the YouTube gods there's a good video. Others like you should see it as well. And I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you as always. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.